A load of you have tweeted me about this beauty here. You know I like my fake Game Boys, and this one's called the Retro Mini, which you can find on Amazon for around about 40 quid. So it's kind of interesting that Amazon are starting to kind of supply these fake rip-offs, but this one I'm actually very impressed with. So this one's called the Retro Mini, and it's got a very, very bright LCD display, and it's just generally quite an amazing little retro product here. So here's the packaging. Pretty shitty, I'll give you that. Like, there's fuck all to it apart from a micro USB and a very, very terrible instruction manual. So we'll skip that. We'll skip that rubbish. C- for packaging, but the console itself here is a beauty, and I'm really, really digging it. So the design wise, I actually really like. It's got that like matte black transparent shell to it with some very rugged buttons that don't move about. And if we compare it with the BitBoy that I reviewed as well, there's a lot of different kind of design features, and I feel like this here, the Retro Mini, has taken everything good from the BitBoy and made it better. So for example, on the BitBoy, there's no bumpers. They've added bumpers. On the BitBoy, there's no SD card slot. That doesn't work. They've added one, plus they give you a ton of games free with your purchase as well. So let's take a look around. On the right hand side, you've got your on-off button, you've got your volume rocker. On the bottom here, you have your micro USB and an auxiliary cable or 3.5mm jack, and then you've got your SD card slot on the top. On the left, sorry. And then on the top, nothing apart from the back bumpers. The back bumpers, in my opinion, are too small for my giant fingers. I don't feel like I'm pressing them. They're kind of like just hitting the side of my finger. So I would have preferred them on top, but that's not a problem. Like, overall, I'm digging it. But my favorite feature is actually the LCD display. Now, this is super bright. It works great. And did you see how quick that boot up was? It's probably about 3 seconds to boot up, and it automatically loads the SD card. So whatever SD card you got in here, it's got all your pictures, videos, music, etc. But we'll go straight into games. SD card, and it should load all the games on that SD card, and they have hundreds. They have all the Pokemons from Gold to Ruby, Sapphire, Lugia's Ocean, loads of Super Mario. They've even got Crash Bandicoot as well. And if I go up to the top, they have 508 games built in, and there's no replicas. There was a load of replicas on that BitBoy, but the Retro Mini here has generally 508 different games. And the best thing about this is that it saves your games. So if you're a Pokemon maniac, you've got all the Pokemon games in here pretty much, apart from like Blue and Red and the newer ones. So you can actually save your games, and I'll prove that when I go into here. And if you can just look at that display, that is super bright, it's crispy. The only problem I have is viewing angles. I don't know if you can see there. It does get a little bit misty, but apart from that, like the LCD display is fantastic. The save file will be loaded, and there you have it, one of my test saves there. Now, I'll go outside. I think I have to put on the clock, and I'll show you the full color display at its finest. So here you have it, we're outside. You can tell it's like a little bit misty, but it's super crispy, it's bright, it's saturated, I dig it. There's only a few games where the frame rate has dropped, such as Crash Bandicoot. I did notice that, but I've had this for a few days now and I've rarely seen that. So the latency is really good. As I said, the viewing angles are pretty poor, but you know, size-wise, brightness-wise, saturation-wise, it's a really, really good screen, and one of the best I've seen on a fake Game Boy. So Retro Mini are really kicking ass with this. So taking a closer look at the design, we can definitely tell that it's taken a lot of its features from the Game Boy Pocket here. The left hand corner is sharp, whereas the right hand side is curved. The buttons are very similar, and it just generally looks like a very small Game Boy Pocket. So there you have it, guys, a quick look at one of my favorite fake Game Boys at the moment. Now I wish I saw this a lot earlier, before the BitBoy and the GB Boy Color, but this one is like perfect, it's portable. I would have liked if the screen kind of came out or had no border here, but I guess it's trying to keep that retro look, and maybe a couple of color variations would have been nice as well, because some people may think this looks a little bit plain, but overall really, really good. I've been using it for a few days now, for a couple of hours a day, and the battery's still fine. If we go out to the menu, I think you can actually see your battery life in the user interface. Yep, at the top right there. So that's a really good signifier, apart from having like red or green in the corner. So that's nice to have, and just the tons of games that you can play. I'll take you through so you can have a closer look at a load of the games. But they've got like all the Marios, Sonic Adventure, Kirby, Tekken, Donkey Kong, The Legend of Zelda, Crash Bandicoot, Dragon Ball Z, Fire Emblem, Astro Boy, Final Fantasy, Mega Man. Like, there is tons. They've got Rayman. I did look for Turok and I couldn't find Turok, which was a little bit depressing, but tons of games in this thing. So for 40 quid, I think it's worth it. The build quality is very, very good. The LCD display is super bright, and it's just a very awesome portable pocket-sized Game Boy that you can take anywhere, and it's already got pre-built games built in. And if you wanted to use custom games, hacked ROMs, you just whack it on an SD card and pop it into this fella. So there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.